So this is question 9 from the same exam, same section, about babies' birth weights. So I'll give you a moment to take a look at this one, just read it over, and then we can talk about it together. So the student is saying, try to pinpoint the conclusion as the first step. That's excellent. That's exactly what you want to do. Find the conclusion first, then go from there. So conclusion was, a baby's health depends on how much food the mother gets while she is pregnant. That's a good paraphrase of the final sentence, which is the conclusion. This indicates that. The phrase, this indicates that, is an excellent conclusion indicator. The word this is referring to the evidence that came previously. Whatever is indicated is whatever is concluded or is the result of the evidence. And so I think the student did an excellent job paraphrasing the conclusion, and then said that the student goes on to say the argument incorporated a correlation between birth weight and previous crops success rate. Yes, so there is that association. The birth weights vary with the success of the previous year's crops. The more successful the crops, the higher the birth weights. So there is an association between crop success and higher birth weight. They're saying, therefore, the food determines the health of the newborn. The newborn's health is dependent upon the food. So more food equals healthier newborn. So that's the correlation. Then the student is saying that they're stumped here because they're saying there's the association between baby's birth weight and health of the newborn. Good. And the other dealt with the success of crops to food access. The student believes both of these correlations are actually flawed, but is not positive. Yeah, so I think that that's right on the money here. I think there are a number of things that are being associated here. We have success of crops to food access, and you could say that's a bit of a leap there because you could have a lot of successful crops, but maybe major agricultural corporations or businesses have all the food and the people are still starving because they don't get access to the food. So that is a good point the student is raising here. Also, birth weight and health are not necessarily the same thing because a baby that's born at 15 or 20 pounds is probably a little bit large for the average newborn and is probably unhealthy in some way. But overall, I think that on average, it's fair to their assumption here that they're saying higher the birth weight, healthier overall, and more crops, more food. Those go together to some extent. You can problematize it, but also keep in mind, this is a number 9. So we want to think more just in general about the major issue, which is health of newborn and food access. Do those go together based on the association? I would take this, given that it's a number 9, more simply as correlation causation straight up. If this were number 18 or number 21 or 22, then I would say maybe there's something more complicated going on here. But I would take this one more at face value and just say, well, maybe there was something else going on, like the climate was good, and a good climate leads to crop success and leads to healthier babies. Or maybe peacetime, maybe when there's no wars going on, the fields of crops don't get burned and babies are healthier because their mothers are not stressed out due to being in the middle of a war. So I say this is straight up correlation causation. And so I wouldn't overly think too much about those more detailed gaps going on here. So anyway, I think the student overall had a good analysis. Says, I liked A, but wasn't sure if it was correct, so I marked it as a contender. That is great analysis. So you like A, you're not sure, so you leave it, you go on to the others, come back later. Student also articulates, I like how the answer choice notes both a claimed correlation as well as causality. Exactly. So there is a claimed correlation here because it is claimed, it's in the evidence. It varies with the records are claiming this, the records are showing this, between two phenomena. Phenomena are just things. In this case, the two phenomena are the crop success and birth weights. Then they're actually causally connected with one another. So that student's saying causality here. That's perfect. Correlation, birth weight and crops, causality, health and access to food, right on the money. The student was good to like this. And then the student said they narrowed it down to A, which is correct. Great job. Then looking at B, I thought this might have a chance as a contender. Then I realized it could not be a contender due to language at the end of the answer choice must be the sole cause of the other. So let's go back up to B, which is what this is referring to. Must be the sole cause of the other. Do they ever say only? They say depends to a large extent, but depends to a large extent versus only, those are not the same thing. And so for that reason, B is out. The student is correct to eliminate that one. C, I didn't like this choice. I feel like nothing in this statement would lead me to believe that a past correlation is enough to conclude they still exist. So C, past correlation versus still existing present. There's not really a major past versus present distinction here. I get that they are saying, of course, the records from the 1800s versus present tense depends. I could see why someone would say past versus present. That is a problem here. So I think that C is actually fairly tempting, but they're not really focusing on the present specifically. They're just saying these two things have this kind of relationship in general. So I think C is fair to keep as a contender overall, but A is clearly a more spot on description of what's going on in this question. D, liked beginning, but not the last part. There's no discussion about hypothesis. So looking at D, records concerning two phenomena. Yes, we have that. A common cause. First off, a common cause would be a third thing. A third thing going on. That's like what I was saying about maybe peacetime. The absence of war could lead to both crop success and baby years being healthy or babies with higher birth weights. But yes, the hypothesis, there's not really a hypothesis here. Their conclusion here is stronger than that. They're saying depends to a large extent concretely as their conclusion. So I think the students also correct in their analysis of D, and I think this explanation overall is a great detailed walkthrough. This is an excellent job on this one. Then E, argument never actually explained a causal relationship. It's a correlation. Yeah, so E is saying the existence of one causal connection from that of another. So inferring existence of one causal connection from that of another. That's saying there are two causal connections here. Are there two causal connections? And is one coming from the other? I guess that would be like this one and then also this one that the student referred to earlier. Baby's birth weight to health of newborn and successive crops to food access. But it's not as if one of these is causing the other. These are just two things that are going on. And then, of course, in general, crops are related to babies. So they're saying like good crops, essentially they're saying like good crops, then good babies, because good crops and good babies go together, and then unhealthy or like low crops or low levels of crops and unhealthy babies go together. But it's not as if the one of them is actually leading to the other. I don't think that they're quite saying that. And again, like I said, that those two relationships were kind of overcomplicating things. So I would eliminate that as well. And then of course, there are not two causal relationships. Yeah, it's just overall crops to babies is really the connection that they're talking about. So excellent job there as well. I think this was a great detailed walkthrough. And you see, it takes time. It takes time to talk through this. It takes time to write this all down. This is a good couple hundred words right here. It's a lot of analysis and it takes time. And so of course, you're not going to do this sort of analysis for every single question you ever attempt, or necessarily every single question that gives you trouble, but you want to do it for a lot of them, no doubt. So great job on this one.